Love him or hate him, Donald Trump knows how to shake up the economy. And in 2025, his financial decisions are making headlines again. Some are calling them bold and necessary, others say they're reckless and dangerous. Welcome to 3x3 Finance, where we break down what these decisions actually mean for your money. Let's get straight into it. Temporary freeze on federal financial assistance? Smart move or a disaster? What happens when millions of Americans suddenly stop receiving government aid? That's exactly what Trump's administration is testing with a temporary freeze on federal financial assistance. What does this mean? Food stamps, housing subsidies, and welfare programs are on hold. Small businesses and low-income families are left scrambling for alternatives. Supporters say it forces financial independence. Critics call it inhumane and reckless. Trump argues that too many people rely on government handouts, and this freeze will push people toward work and self-sufficiency. But will it? Some economists warn that cutting assistance without a safety net could trigger an economic slowdown. People with less money to spend equals businesses making less money equals fewer jobs. So is this a tough but necessary financial reset or just a political stunt with major risks? Either way, it's one of the biggest economic moves of 2025, but it's far from the only one. Reversal of Biden-era policies. Is it helping or hurting the economy? Is undoing everything Biden did actually fixing the economy, or just making things worse? Trump wasted no time dismantling Biden-era financial policies. Some say it's bringing back business growth, others say it's creating economic instability. Here's what's changing. Corporate tax cuts are back, making Wall Street happy. Regulations on big banks are loosening, giving them more freedom but also raising fears of another financial crisis. Healthcare subsidies are being cut, potentially leaving millions uninsured. The stock market reacted with a massive rally, but job markets remain uncertain. Big businesses are thriving, but what about the middle class? The question is Trump's undo everything Biden did approach actually helping the economy or just creating chaos? And speaking of controversial changes, redirecting green energy funds to business tax cuts, a boost or a backward move? Is slashing green energy funding a necessary business move or a step backward for the future? One of Trump's biggest financial shifts? Pulling billions from clean energy initiatives and redirecting them to business tax cuts. His argument? Renewable energy subsidies are draining government funds with little return. Businesses need tax relief to keep jobs, and the U.S. oil and gas companies should get priority to ensure energy independence. Supporters say this will strengthen traditional industries and lower energy costs. Critics warn it could set back climate progress and leave the U.S. trailing behind in the global energy race. Will businesses thrive under lower taxes, or is this a short-term gain with long-term consequences? And speaking of extreme financial changes, Trump might be going after the Federal Reserve itself. Abolishing the Federal Reserve, bold reform or economic suicide? What if the most powerful financial institution in the United States no longer existed? Trump has hinted at dismantling the Federal Reserve, calling it a corrupt, outdated system that manipulates markets instead of letting free capitalism work. What would happen? Interest rates would no longer be controlled by an independent institution. The government could take over monetary policy, but would that mean more stability or political interference? Inflation could skyrocket or crash, depending on who's in power. Some libertarians love the idea. They argue that free markets should decide everything. But most economists warn that removing the Fed could lead to financial instability on a massive scale. Is this a necessary shakeup or a dangerous gamble with the U.S. economy? And while the Fed's future is up in the air, Trump's next move is unexpected, but could change millions of paychecks overnight. Higher pay for Sunday work, a win for workers or a disaster for businesses? Should you get paid more just because it's Sunday? Trump's latest proposal would require all businesses to pay higher wages for Sunday shifts, similar to how holiday pay works. Here's what that means. Workers benefit. They get bigger paychecks for working weekends. Businesses struggle. Restaurants, retail stores, and small businesses may cut jobs or reduce hours to afford higher wages. Consumers could pay the price. Increased labor costs could mean higher prices for everyone. This could be a massive boost for workers, or the start of rising costs across the board. Will this plan actually help middle-class Americans, or will it backfire and lead to job cuts? The ripple effect, how Trump's financial moves are reshaping everyday life. Every financial decision made at the top trickles down to the average person. Whether you're a business owner, employee, investor, or just someone trying to manage your daily expenses, Trump's economic changes in 2025 will affect your wallet in some way. Before we wrap up, let's break down how these policies are actually impacting real people, and why some are thriving while others are struggling. What happens when you cut assistance, lower taxes, and change labor laws all at once? Middle-class Americans are feeling the biggest impact of Trump's financial shifts, but the effects are wildly different depending on where you stand. Winners, business owners and high-income earners, with lower corporate taxes and fewer regulations, entrepreneurs and investors are making more money than ever. Skilled workers in strong industries, sectors like energy, construction and manufacturing are booming, leading to higher wages and more opportunities. People who already own assets, those with investments in stocks, real estate and businesses are benefiting from Trump's pro-growth strategies. Losers, low-income families. With assistance programs frozen, many are struggling to cover basic expenses. Workers in sectors affected by tax cuts, while some industries thrive, others like green energy are losing funding and facing job cuts. Renters and new homebuyers, as inflation and rising interest rates affect the market, buying a home is becoming harder than ever. It's a financial reset, but one that's helping some and hurting others. Stock markets are up, but does that mean the economy is actually better? Under Trump's policies, corporations and the stock market are thriving, but that doesn't always translate to real wealth for everyday people. Here's the split reality we're seeing. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones and S&P 500 are hitting record highs fueled by tax cuts and deregulation. Big banks and tech giants are making huge profits, rewarding investors. Hedge funds are aggressively investing, expecting long-term growth. On Main Street, small businesses are facing rising costs, especially with Sunday wage laws. The cost of living is increasing, as companies pass tax savings to shareholders instead of lowering prices. Wages aren't keeping up with inflation, meaning paychecks don't stretch as far. The gap between the wealthy and the working class is growing. The question is, will this financial strategy create long-term prosperity, or just make the rich richer? Trump's financial decisions aren't just affecting the United States, they're shaking up the global economy. China and trade wars. Trump is bringing back tariffs on Chinese goods, making imports more expensive but helping U.S. manufacturers. The United States and China are locked in another economic battle, with global supply chains feeling the pressure. Europe's reaction: EU leaders criticize Trump's deregulation, saying it gives U.S. businesses an unfair advantage. European markets are adjusting their trade policies in response to U.S. shifts. The crypto and gold boom. With Trump's uncertain financial policies, many investors are turning to alternative assets like Bitcoin and gold. Crypto adoption is skyrocketing, with many viewing it as a hedge against government-controlled monetary policies. The world is watching and adjusting. Some economies are thriving under Trump's policies while others are trying to fight back. One of the biggest concerns for Americans: housing prices and mortgage rates. What's happening in 2025? Trump's tax cuts and deregulation are pumping money into the economy, but they're also driving inflation. The Federal Reserve, while still active for now, has adjusted interest rates, making mortgages more expensive than ever. Housing affordability is at an all-time low, and many younger Americans are locked out of homeownership. Will prices crash? Some economists predict that a market correction is coming, meaning home values could drop if the economy slows. Or will they rise further? Others believe Trump's pro-business stance will keep real estate on an upward trajectory. Either way, the housing market is more volatile than ever, and for buyers and sellers, timing is everything. So how do you navigate Trump's 2025 financial changes? If you're an investor, take advantage of business-friendly policies but watch for volatility in the markets. If you're a worker, focus on high-income skills and industries that are thriving under new policies. If you're a small business owner, prepare for shifting labor costs and tax adjustments that could impact your bottom line. If you're planning big purchases, be strategic. Interest rates, taxes, and inflation are all moving targets. One thing's for sure, this is not a time to be passive about your finances. The next few years will define who gets ahead and who struggles to keep up. Now let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Are Trump's financial decisions setting America up for success or leading to economic chaos? One thing is clear: Trump is making financial decisions that no other president would dare to make. Cutting federal assistance, forcing self-sufficiency or throwing people into crisis, reversing Biden-era policies, economic revival or reckless undoing, pulling green energy funds, helping businesses or hurting future progress, dismantling the Federal Reserve genius move or economic disaster, raising Sunday wages, a victory for workers or a burden on businesses. Some say he's bringing America back to financial strength, others say he's creating unnecessary chaos. What do you think? Are these smart financial moves or reckless decisions with massive consequences? Drop a comment below, and if you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe and hit that like button. Because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching 3x3 Finance.